Hey there! I am here today answering some questions of my most current challengers in my fit groups. And so we had a request for beginning stages of headstand. And there are so many ways to do headstand and so many preps for it that I'm just going to go over a brief overview. But when you're first starting headstand, maybe you've never done it as an adult, or haven't done it in 15, 20 years. A lot of us do it as kids. Maybe you've never done it. The best and most safest place to start is in the corner of a room. So if you're in the corner of a room, like so, this is two walls that come together to meet. If you put your head right there in between the corner of the room, and you use the two walls to balance yourself back and forth and kick up to the wall, then that's the safest way to experience headstand for the first time, so that you've got three angles around you of support, especially when you're not working with a teacher or an instructor in a studio. So I will recommend putting your hands down where your fingers are intertwined. You want your elbows shoulder width apart. A lot of people make the mistake of putting them on the floor wider than shoulder width apart, and that's not safe. It's more sturdy to be right under the shoulder sockets. And then place your head in the cradle of the hammock of the hands that's created with this action, and slowly start to kick up like I'm going to show you against a wall, and then start to do it in the middle of the room. After you feel comfortable being upside down, move away from the wall, and make sure there's nothing around you so that if you fall, you're not going to hurt yourself, I promise. The best way to fall in a headstand or a handstand, if you happen to, in yoga, again, which doesn't happen very often if you have a good instructor, but if it does happen, the best way to fall is to take a gymnastics piece of advice for when you fall, to always make sure to tuck your chin and roll. So if you're falling back, try to tuck and roll, and you can't really hurt yourself. You just want to think of kind of rolling and being as relaxed as possible, even though I know it's easier said than done. So there's two ways to do headstand, and one is with your hands on the ground like this, and the first option that I just told you about with your hands on the ground like this. So you have a more stable place to start with your hands on the ground like this. So I'll briefly go over the two different ways. It's not very brief, it's very detailed, but headstand is the king of all yoga poses, so it's something really good for you to do. The pressure on your head and that pressure point up there, it links to so many things in the body, from circulation to cardiovascular benefits, to preventing colds and sicknesses, getting a fresh rush of oxygen and blood to the thyroid, the parathyroid. It's really good to put that gentle pressure on your head, and you really don't put that much weight on your head. A couple things to remember in this first round is when you place your head on the ground, you don't want to put your forehead on the ground, and you don't want to put the crown of your head on the ground. You want directly in between the two of those. So right behind where your hairline should be is really the perfect place for safe neck support. Now, if you have any neck issues, just don't do headstand at all, especially without an instructor's advice right standing next to you. But to start us off, you are going to put your hands in this hammock position, and then take your bottom pinky, whichever one it is, and tuck it underneath the hands. That is going to make a flat surface for you. Elbows into the shoulder width apart. And again, if you're finally moving away from a corner of a room or a wall, you're just going to want to slowly place your head on the ground and come to a downward dog style position. Right here. And then you can begin to slowly tiptoe yourself in to where your back feels like it's pretty up and down, perpendicular to the floor. Now, when you kick up to headstand, you're going to want to come a little further than perpendicular with your spine. And then once your legs kick up, you're going to slowly straighten your back and your legs at the same time. You can stay here for as long as you want. Squeeze your knees together. Strengthen your core, tuck your tailbone, keep your feet together, push through the ball of your feet, and you can come down with straight legs or bent legs. Play with that, and then I'll upload a second video for a different way to do headstand with your hands planted on the ground. There's 2 ways. Thanks guys, I'll talk to you soon. Namaste.